Oh, there we go. See something. You're in the show. Okay. Now I can't see you. If you can see me, great. I can't see you though. Tisha, all this technology and we're fishing. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Okay. Come on, we're gonna get together. We're gonna get it together, I promise you. So my unapologetic therapist is absent right now. So you tuned in here with me. And excuse me if my forehead is shiny. I don't know what's going on with the lighting in here, but we'll deal with it. We will deal with it. I'm sorry. I keep getting these absurd marketing posts from Amazon telling me that they have a new deal for me. And I didn't ask for the deal, but okay. I just heard something. She said, I'm coming. I'm late for the show. I'm gonna try to make sure that none of the lewd text messages I tend to receive pop up in this broadcast, okay? Okay. We're gonna stop all this wobbling in 1 second. 1 second. Da-da-da. Mm-mm. Come on, Miss Morticia. I'm gonna put my shades on in a minute. Oh, okay, okay. So that's still connected to the Bluetooth. Okay, while we wait, I'm gonna play one of my favorite songs, okay?
I like it. I promise you. I promise. I promise you. Yes. Yes. That's why my shirt says this.
Therapalizing. Okay.
Yeah. I promise. I'm in
Hey,
California.
hey, just stay and continue to be unapologetic about whatever happens. Hey, I got a theme song for you. Here you go. Just want to get to the hook. Yeah, all we do it.
Yes. I'm about to have a good day. Yes, I am.
Exactly.
Yes,
That's
I am.
Forrest Frank. Good day. Yeah. I don't even know
Yes.
that kid, but that kid is dope. And I heard that song. It became my theme song. no matter what.
I'm about to have a good day. I am. I promise you, I am. I promise. I promise you, I'm about to have a good day.
It's all
So,
good.
welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, I'm coming from sunny California, of course. It is five
Of,
five
of
five
course.
something here. It's seven something there, but it's okay. Everything happens for a reason.
Indeed.
It does. It does. Thank you, thank you, thank you for joining this evening's podcast with me, the unapologetic therapist, Morticia Sherman, where, hey, I don't apologize about nothing that goes on. It happens. It tends to happen. Of course, like I said, I'm in sunny California. I have my guest with me, Mr. Chris White.
Yes,
Call
that's
him
me.
Mr. White. Call him Mr. White. Call you Mr. White for what? Come on, give
Hey,
me some of
listen,
that.
listen, listen. Every time I go out in the community and I try to help, the first thing they ask is, what's the best way to get in touch with you? And I say,
Mhm.
listen, just remember, call Mr. White, period. And once I started saying that, whenever someone had a referral for me or they wanted someone to get help, because I deal heavily in that addiction world, they'll
Mhm.
just tell the people, just call Mr. White. Who is that? Just call this number. Call
Just
Mr. White.
exactly.
And
Exactly.
and it caught on, and I said, okay, we're gonna keep that. We're gonna own that. We're gonna
Okay.
run with it. So yeah.
Yeah, it's been running pretty fast.
Mm.
It's been on go mode.
Oh, we've been in go mode for a minute. Oh,
Okay.
2025 is about to get crazy. Listen, it's
Mm,
about to get crazy. I have 9 books coming out. I might be on a motivational speaking tour. It's
hey,
go mode for real. And
you
look,
remember when we talked about it? I said, "Hey, my head is up.
y-
My head is
yes,
I'm right
yes.
here. I'm right here. I want to be on go
Hey,
mode."
we have a lot of work to do.
Me,
We have things that we were supposed to do before the end of this year, and you know how things happen.
yeah.
They happen. Life keeps lifing, and we adapt, we adjust, and we overcome, and we keep pushing until we get to where we need to be, and
Well,
that's what
life
it
is
is.
gonna keep life in because let me tell you, the most funniest joke that happened for me with my coworkers was like after the election, and we're gonna get into this conversation. But
Oh,
wait, you gotta hear this part.
okay.
After the election, she said, "Oh my God, we're gonna be billionaires," and I said, "Why?"
Oh, listen.
Because
Li-
people gonna need therapy like nothing else. And I said, you know what, you sure right. There's so many people that gonna be calling us
hey,
left to right
it's trauma across the board. I
across the
listen. I,
board.
I'm talking to my friend and my brother, Brandon King. He
Mm,
owns Man to Man Counseling in the Woodlands, and we partner up on a lot of different projects, whether it be groups or informationals. We do a lot of things in conjunction with one another,
okay.
and we were just going over this. He mainly works with men and men of color specifically, and I said, "Oh man, you got to take that down. You got to open up the gate because now you're going to have men
Right.
across the board that want to vent, that want to talk, and want to get a lot of these stressors off of them. So a
Right.
lot of people are feeling traumatized, and we specialize in trauma. We deal with it
Exactly. And the thing of it is, I don't take what we do for granted. I
at all.
can't because the background and the history that I have, a lot of people would look at us and think that we have it all and that we came from a good place. And
Man,
I tell people all the time, and I've been saying this for years, you don't know my story and you don't know my pain. But in that, I go with my clients, I see them and it's totally off experience. So I'm always telling them, hey, do not judge a book by its cover.
right?
And people get excited. I don't know why, but when I tell them I'm a two-time suicide survivor, I
Oh,
survived suicide as a kid because I tried to commit suicide as a teenager. And
really?
then, yeah,
Wait a minute. To preface that with the background, because we know each other from our teenage years,
yes.
and I never would have thought that in a million years.
And see, that's why people don't tell you when they want to commit suicide. They just do it.
Mm,
So I didn't tell nobody. I didn't tell nobody that I was going through a whole lot of stuff of what I went through. The molestation, the constant rape, all of that growing up as a kid. Nobody knew, the abuse, just all of that growing up as a kid, and people didn't know that I was experiencing that. So I
Wow.
was suffering in silence because, again, growing up as a kid, you don't know that there are therapists out here to talk to. You know, your parents didn't do that. You went and talk to your cousin, you talk to your
Hmm.
grandmother, you talk to your aunt, you know. And then when I went through my divorce, that was hard for me
How
because
long were you married?
I was married for about 15 years to myself.
Come on, Tisha. To yourself. Come on now. Someone had to be present.
Look,
Someone else had to be present.
see, that's why I get into this about the men seeking therapy, because I didn't know the stigma of mama's boy. I didn't
Oh
know that.
man, you
So,
would get beat up. You called me a
man,
mama's boy back in the
oh,
day. You're talking
man.
about young men, young boys who are taught to suppress and repress those emotions.
Did you see my eyes?
And look, I have three brothers, I have three sisters.
Hmm.
And growing up in a household where you have different personalities, different mindsets, and you have one parent, and you're saying, I had to realize that I had a lot to unpack for myself that I learned from my mother. And my mother did the best that she could. And we, not too long ago, had a conversation about this, all of the things that I had to unlearn because growing up with her, I responded to things the way she responded to those things,
Hmm.
and they were usually emotionally charged. So I was quick to respond with disrespect with violence.
Hmm.
First is the yelling, then comes the violence, and you're not apologetic about any of that. So that carried on for most of my youthful time.
Hmm.
And it's not until you become an adult and you have kids that you realize that, hey, this isn't going to work here. And it's not taking anything away from my mom. She killed it.
Hmm.
She raised these boys without a problem. I'm not going to say without a problem, but she raised us in a way that we were able to, mature into some pretty decent men. And
Right.
that's all we're trying to do is create and raise our own families to be decent human beings. And
Hmm.
you don't know what fear is until you have children.
Man, and I have four.
Children.
So I have the happy balance. I have the boys and I have the girls. So as I watched and brought my boys up, they were able to say how they felt. They were
Mm,
able to express their emotions to me. I kid people tell me right now today, I love how you raise your children, because your children are very independent minded people, and they come and talk to you
mm.
about what's going on, and you have that open relationship. Of course, I was a teen mom. So when I went through that trauma growing up as a kid, not being able to say how I felt without getting abused or whooped,
Right,
because we call them whoopings back in the day. I
right.
say
We
abuse,
did.
but being back in the days where you got, now they call it spanking, but we got whipped.
You got your
So
butt whooped
right.
it. For
Right.
real.
So my children, I made it up in my mind that I wanted them to be able to express what it is that bothered them, what it is that that they couldn't grasp hold to. I have four independent individuals, two sons, two daughters. I have a military veteran. I have a son who is a father, who's a great father to his son. I have two daughters. So I just have to get into your personal journey. So, can you share your own journey to as to why you wanted to become a male? I call it a psychotherapist, and
Yes.
what motivated you work specifically in the field of mental health. And the conversations that we had, you deal with a lot of men. So, just in that
Right.
industry.
Well, I'm in the field of mental health and addiction, and
Mm,
it's almost like the chicken or the egg. What came first? Was it drug-induced psychosis, or were you um, dealing with some issues and you start self-medicating?
mm-hmm.
So, just to take it back, I grew. The funny thing about trauma is most people don't realize that they're dealing with trauma
Exactly.
until someone points out certain attributes that are being shown that are traumatic and how they respond to things, especially when you're triggered. You
Say that
respond
word. Say that
triggered,
word. Not not
triggered.
not not red flag. not red flags. We're talking about triggers. And I said that last week. We as psychotherapists say triggers. Others say
Yes,
red flags. We're talking about,
right.
come on now. Come on.
Hey, listen, if you get with the wrong person, a relationship will expose a lot because you get with the wrong person at the right time and they're not you gotta take a drink on that. Listen, I'm so blessed that the person that I chose to spend my life with grounded me in a way that listen, your boy was off the chain, and I was out there wilding. And I realized when I met this young lady that in order for me to be with her, I had to change a lot of the things that I was doing because I was a man, but I was doing a lot of things that boys do. And that gave me a different type of purpose and direction on how to deal with this person. And we've grown together. And most people don't know because you probably never see me with a wedding ring, but you'll see me with a ring on. But I've been married for 22 years.
See? Come on now.
And now I come from a household where it's a single parent. My father wasn't in my life. I'm the oldest of my siblings, and I grew up in the hood. And one thing about growing up in the hood, being a little red boy, light skinned red boy, guess what? You're gonna get picked on, and you either gonna hey, listen. You grew up in Fifth Ward, you're gonna learn some things.
Hey, you
You
better tell that
hey,
story.
you're gonna fight back, or you gonna be a victim every day. And it's funny how you grew up in an area that you don't know that it's suppressed. You just because everybody looks the same. Everybody's broke. No one has any money. And your mom might work one or two jobs and, hustling on the side, doing whatever. But you're just like everybody else. So it's a bunch of pseudo bravado that's being presented. And you have to watch out in them particular times because other people are watching you. And you might be getting groomed in a way you didn't even know it was happening. So I grew up around a lot of pimps, a lot of prostitutes. It wasn't a lot of gangs in Fifth Ward back then, but it was a lot of people that ran together. It was a lot of cliques. And I think back then it was a gang called the Smurfs. And
Oh,
I don't know if you're from
come
Houston,
on.
but if you remember
Come on.
everybody knew the Smurfs, but nobody ever saw the Smurfs. But
Never saw him.
hey, listen, I went to Dogan Elementary, and one day this guy transferred to the school, and this dude had bloodshot red eyes. I didn't know why they were bloodshot. Then I found out, oh, he smokes a lot of weed because his brother gives him weed, and that made his eyes red. But this dude used to do the most insane things, and want to beat up people every day. So, like I said, you getting thrown into that jungle, and you either gonna figure out how to survive, or you're gonna be on your track team every day running. And I said, look, I can't run. I got brothers. I'm not running. Something's going to happen. And it forced me to become a different version of myself. So I became ultra aggressive. I became ultra violent. It made me great at football because now I'm able to impose my will on somebody else that was
Mm-hmm.
trying to impose their will on me through
Mm-hmm.
sports. And
Mm-hmm.
so that led to different things going through high school. And, like you said, you became a teen mom. When I was in high school, my mom was a teen mom. She got pregnant with me when she was 15, had me at 16. And you don't know what type of effect that has until you have your own children. So, like you say, you have a balance. I have one son, I have one daughter, and they are everything like my wife and I, but they're nothing like my wife and I.
Mm-hmm.
They have the option to they have the option to do more.
Right. And that's what they're supposed
No
to do.
limits. There are no limits. They can ask the questions.
Yeah.
They want the insight. They're going to keep questioning as to why they won't settle for just because I said so.
Mm-hmm.
And as sometimes, if we're not mature enough, we feel like we're being challenged as a parent. And
Yeah.
sometimes we respond like we did as a kid. We
Exactly.
yell and screaming because I said so.
Yeah.
But as
Yeah.
someone who has to be great with their words and use their words properly, you have to be able to convey that message to them as to why this is happening.
And when you say that, what I love about my relationship with my children is I don't listen to because I say so. I never gave them because I said so. I want you to ask me the reason why I said what I said. Because even in my divorce, My children did not know about my divorce. My daughter was in college in California. That was so weird. She was like, Mom, I never knew why you and Dad even got a divorce. And I said, you never will, because I would never
So they
discredit
ne-
him.
they never seen you guys have a fight or argument. Sometimes that is healthy to see. This is how we disagree.
Mm-mm.
We
But
don't
you
have
know,
to go
but
ahead.
they
I'm sorry.
knew, they knew, they knew what was going on in the household, but they
Okay.
never saw us in heated fellowship.
Okay. Heated
They never saw,
fellowship.
yeah, heated fellowship. They never
Okay.
saw us in heated fellowship.
Like that. Okay.
But they knew that there was things going on, because I won't say that they never see me cry. I can't say that they never saw me just in my mind, because I went, my thing of it was I went to the church.
Okay.
I ran to the church. I was singing, ministering, and stuff like that. And I ran there. And then my kids was like, Mom, we always saw you in church. We never saw you and Dad argue. We knew that there was disagreements, but we never knew what was going on. And then when y'all got divorced, it really blew their mind. I mean, even
Mm.
my youngest son was like, you kind of destroyed my life, because I thought we was living in a happy, happy life. And I told him, I said, well, sometimes I had to make a choice. Either I lived or I died. I was
Mm.
constantly dying.
Well, and
So I had to
if you don't
learn to
mind me
live.
asking, why did you feel like you were dying in the relationship? Why did you feel like that? Was it
Because
abusive? If you don't mind me asking.
it was abusive. It
Okay.
was. It was so abusive to where it went from physical to mental. So it was like his mom was. When I say mama's boy, it was like mom this, mom that, mom this, mom that, my mom this, my mom that. And when I was like, but hey, your wife is over here, and what triggered me the most was when he made this statement. Because this lady told him, she was like, your voice carries so well. And I just knew, I almost thought you was TD Jakes. So he thought he was TD Jakes. He came to
Mm.
me and he was like, God told me it was time for me to minister to women. And I said, well, how you going to minister to women and your wife and your daughters are over here hurting? You can't go and minister outside of the house and not minister inside of the house. So then it went from that to I was like, you know what? Look, before I burn this thing down, I'm just gonna go ahead and just walk. I'm gonna walk away, and I'm gonna let you have what you
Wow.
want. Yeah,
Did the kids, especially your daughters, did they ever witness any of the physical trauma?
my youngest daughter did.
Okay.
My youngest
And
daughter did, and we
so,
we did some servicing with that, some counseling with that.
okay, because it's usually the emotional trauma, the verbal, and the physical,
Mm-hmm.
and they usually come with the verbal, and it's a portion of the emotional, and then you start playing on the emotional, and then it becomes physical. Because once I got you in that mindset, this is just the evolution of that step.
Oh yeah.
And I grew up in a house where domestic violence was rampant,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and as a young boy, you want to protect that person that you love.
Right.
And it always amazed me that the domestic violence would come from someone that person loved.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand that,
Mm-hmm.
because I said, why would you hurt somebody that you're supposed to love? I never understood that, even to this day, even when I deal with guys that have
Ooh.
had relationships where they became physical with their lady and whatnot. Oh, and now we're in a time where more men are speaking out, and a lot of men are in physical relationships, and the woman is the actual instigator
Right.
and the aggressor. And
But you know
so,
why though? Do you know
no,
why?
tell me why.
Because she was already abused. So that's
Mm,
love to her.
mm.
That's a form of love. I want you, it's almost like that it's so unreal type of relationship. It's like I'm so used to the guys yelling at me and screaming at me and all this and all
That's
that,
what
but you
that's
this
what that
nice
love looks
guy.
like to them.
Yeah, you this nice guy. So I need you to display this affection on me. Now, if a guy yelling, screaming at me, I have to learn not to shut down. Because I
Mm.
had one, this is like years ago. This one guy was like, I'm an alpha male. And I said, you don't know me. You don't know me.
If you have to say you're an alpha male, It's
No,
not
no,
what it is.
no, no, me. I told him, I said, you're an alpha male and I'm a Libra.
Mm,
That's
listen, oh man,
all I can say.
it's real. It's real.
That's all I can say.
You
But
know, I've only encountered that situation once,
mm-hmm,
where a young lady felt that because I'm really nonchalant. I'm like I said, your boy was wild. I was so player. It was it was a privilege for you to be in my presence. So if
mm,
I had to do something physical to you, I don't need you around me.
mm-hmm,
Just the aura and the setting, you being in it means that guess what? I want you here.
mm-hmm,
So if you were looking for that and I didn't give that to you, you were no longer around me.
mm,
And that's just the way I wrote because it was too great of a situation. If you're my woman and I'm catering to you, trust me, you're not worrying about anything. And I'm spoiling the hell out of you. So if that relationship was to end, you're going to be searching for someone like me. Trust
come
me.
on now.
I'm not joking. I'm not joking, Tish.
With the flashlight in the daytime. You
Yes.
got really
Yes. And that's the way I felt. And that's the way I moved. And it sounds egotistical, but I said, man, look, remember I told you I grew up in the hood and I grew up
yeah.
around pimps and I grew up around prostitutes and I grew up around people doing drugs. So
Mm-hmm,
when I saw certain things, like I said, you don't know that you're being groomed. You're being groomed on how power works. You're groomed on how money works, how you think relationships are supposed to work. So that was part of it. And you actually have to grow out of that. But some people don't grow out of it. They allow it to continue. But listen, if I have to do anything to you, we don't need to be
mm-hmm.
together. You're not
Right.
disturbing my peace like that. And we're either
No.
going to be a benefit to one another and have a symbiotic relationship, or we're not.
Right.
And that's
Right.
why I alluded to the fact that the person you select to be with has an incredible amount of power on how peaceful you are and how your life flows.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
you give me the perfect example of when you choose when that choice is not what it should turn out to be, it can wreak havoc on your mental
It
and your
can.
physical.
It can. It can. And especially if you're not healed from a previous relationship and you
Definitely.
finally do meet a person. And what I'm finding out the most, because here lately, I have been getting more couples
Mm,
in my therapy sessions than
okay.
anything. And you know me, Chris, I was like, Lord, what you doing? You know, why am I getting couples? What is in this that I need to gather for myself to understand what it is that I need to know? You know, I'm sitting up there wrestling with
R-
God. I'm like, you know, sir, I need to know what you're doing. Why am I doing all this? And they love it because I tell them I'm not sugarcoating nothing for you because I've been there, done that. And one of I got a new couple, and it was so funny. He says, "So are you gonna tell us either we're gonna couple or not couple?" I say, "No, either you gonna shit or get off the pot." He
mm.
looked at me. He
So
said,
you're
"I
direct.
like you."
Yeah.
It's like I like you. I said, "Yeah, that's it." It's no more playing games in these relationships and these marriages
You can't afford
where
to.
no, you can't.
Domestic violence is at an all-time high. A lady just got killed yesterday. It was all over the news. Husband came to the job and shot her while she was working. So I'm a I'm a man who has a daughter.
Mm-hmm,
I'm like a peninsula. I'm surrounded by women.
mm-hmm,
My mother, who's still alive, thank the Lord, my wife, and my daughter.
mm-hmm.
And I have a sister. I have sisters. I'm surrounded by those that I care about. And if you harm them, look, it's going to take, once you get me there, it's going to take a lot to get me back. But don't harm anything within my world,
Mm-hmm.
and we're okay. And
Okay.
like I tell them, if you care about that person, care enough about yourself even more to walk away.
A walk away. That is so
But
easy.
but
And
sometimes it's hard because the guy doesn't want you to walk away. And
say what?
it results into a shooting or a killing or
Well, how
something
can
that
how can you say to me that you're not going to allow me to walk away when you're not doing the right things as a
Right.
man for me. You know, you're not making things peaceful for me. You're causing havoc. You're just there. You're not doing anything. Then I got to deal with your trauma.
Mm.
And that's the segment that I kept honing on: trauma versus drama. A lot of men deal with a lot of drama and they think it's trauma, and sometimes they deal with trauma and think it's drama. You got to understand the difference.
Right. Right.
A lot of people don't know the difference. So we as therapists, we as mental health people, professionals,
Yes.
have to be able to give people the difference between trauma and
Right.
drama.
And you have to, well, you're talking about educating.
Right.
And once you educate them, you now have to start prepping them and prepare them to use the tools.
Exactly.
And most people don't want to do that because it requires work. It requires you to be present.
That lazy mind.
And that accountability now is at the forefront.
That lazy mind.
What
That
what
lazy mind.
Hey, look, I tell people all the time, it's a difference between happiness and pleasure. Happiness
Mm.
requires work. Happiness
Mhm.
requires a lot of work. And
Mhm.
it's hard work sometimes getting to the other side of happiness. But
Mhm.
pleasure is easy.
Oh
I could
yeah.
get pleasure for $40. I could get pleasure for $5.
You get
That's why
pleasure for
addiction,
free.
you can get
Look.
pleasure for free. You can. Trust me.
Yeah, yeah. I
Every
just
every
want you
time
in
you
my
walk out your door.
I just want you in my presence. That's all. I don't want nothing else. I just want you in my presence. And then that you can have all the pleasure you want. I just want you in my presence until things start getting real.
Yeah.
Then it's a problem. So my next question, because we're talking about breaking silence and encouraging,
Mhm.
men to be able to speak out. When we talk about cultural barriers, right? Because we
Mm.
know that they're out there.
Yes.
What do you believe are the most significant cultural barriers that prevents men, especially, from opening up, discussing their mental health struggles?
Well, it's interesting because my clientele base is so diverse now.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be, when I say men of color, it used to be African American men.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have Indian, I have Pakistani, I have Hispanic, I have
Mm-hmm.
Asian, and it's amazing because what I've learned is that when you work with white males,
Mm-hmm.
um, if there's an issue, it's going to be addressed, and whether the authorities get involved, it's going to be addressed for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
In Hispanic families, the information stays within the house. Nothing comes in and out of the house. It's
Oh
handled in
yeah.
house. And with the it's like that in the Indian community also.
Mm-hmm.
Everything stays in house for the most part. With the black culture, with our people, it stays on the block for the most part. When I say stays on the block, if you have a friend that lives down the street and you talk to, they're probably going to know about it. If you have 2 or 3 friends on the street, they're probably going to know about certain things that are happening within your household.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes our barbers become our pseudo therapists. They know more about us than our wives might know about us.
Man, at the beauty
That's
shop
why.
too.
And listen, I'm on a mission right now to turn barbers into mental health coaches. I am not joking. I want to get you certified. Listen, a man, and this bring. I'm not trying to deflect to another conversation, but a lot of times what women will say is that loyalty isn't there with a lot of men, but that guy's been going to the same barber for 25 years. It's
And
just a
he
matter if he
look,
wants to be loyal to you.
look, and he ain't cheated. Look,
He ain't cheating.
he ain't cheated.
That
You
barber
know
is
what
going to
I'm
hold you accountable. Hey,
saying?
did you go? Wait a minute, you got a haircut last week? Who did you
Yeah.
go to? Hey, they messed up your lineup. I'm looking at. Oh, it's the details. So imagine if you would tell this person, just like your stylist.
Mm-hmm.
Your stylist, once you sit in that seat,
Oh yeah,
can
sure.
tell if you've had a hard day, a hard week, a
Yeah.
hard month. And she
Yeah.
said, girl, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, these people at my job, oh, they're just wearing me out. Oh, my kids are just running me through the roof. And my man, oh my goodness. Your stylist will know that.
Yeah, I tell her all the time, I'm about to be a part of the cursing ministry. She said, huh?
Oh
I
yeah.
said, yeah, I'm about to curse.
You got a curse bucket. You got a
Just
curse
hold.
bucket.
I even tell that's one thing I even tell my clients before they get to know me. So on my first general session, when I sit down and talk to them, I tell them, look, this is a judgment-free zone. I don't have a
Mhm.
heaven or hell to put you in. And you may catch me with a few curse words every now and then. I'm just gonna let you know you're gonna get the real, because look, we both came from Fifth Ward. So you
Mhm.
already know there's nothing that we're not gonna be able to tell you, especially on life experience. And I tell them, I'm
Yes.
coming to you from life experiences. I'm not coming to you from the book. I'm not
Mhm.
coming to you from the bigger book, the Bible. I'm gonna throw some scriptures at you too, but there's some curse words might come out in the
Yeah,
midst of
this
it.
this this ain't theory. This is
No,
applied experience.
exactly. Look, Peter was my uncle. I just didn't know it until later on down the line.
Right. Sometimes they need a word or two. Give it to them.
I give it to them, but
Yeah.
I love it when I meet the ladies and they're married, and I tell them, I say, I had to learn one specific scripture in my marriage, before I got divorced, to prepare me for my next, because I do want to get married again for my next. Um, I want I always tell them Proverbs 14 and 1 through 2 tells us that, a wise woman builds a house, but the foolish one tears it down with her own hands, which means her
Mm,
mouth. So
mm.
I tell them, I said, you sitting up here complaining about your husband. What are you not doing? You sitting up here complaining and doing all these things, but what are you not doing? What is he not doing? Because again, when you pointing that one finger at him, it's four pointing right back at you.
Right.
And I tell him the same thing. I tell the guys the same thing. I want you to read Proverbs 1. I think it's Proverbs 1, Psalms 1, where, wisdom. It talks about wisdom. You got to be able to have wisdom when you run in your household. You
Mm.
can't sit up there and run your household any kind of way because your cousins say, oh, dog, if she like that going on out there, it's a woman out there that may want to do this and may want to do that. Then you didn't put a whole fire inside of your camp.
Hmm.
And then you come to
You have
see
to be
us.
careful with the energy you bring in your house. Yeah.
True.
You have to be very
True, true.
careful of the energy that you let in your house. And
True.
it starts with submission, because you're submitting to God, and
Mm-hmm.
now you're submitting to your husband, who's the head of the household, who's God is watching over the house. And so you have to be mindful of that, but sometimes that's not the case. Who's got the baby?
This is
Oh,
my
that's
granddaughter.
oh, she's like, I'm gonna be on the show regardless. You're gonna put me on TV.
Hey, when you hear the word "nunu," that's my granddaughter.
See, I haven't reached that stage yet where I'm a grandparent. I
It
keep
is
hearing
a
about it. I'm
blessing.
not looking forward to it either.
It is a blessing. I promise you. When you have grandkids, it is a blessing. I have a grandson and a granddaughter, and I'm like, they are two individual people, but they are great. I just love them because I said this the other day with a session, and I told them, I said, for my children, my four children, all four of them came at a pivoting moment in my life where I needed them.
Okay.
So with my grandchildren, it seemed like the same thing too. They came at a pivotal moment in my life where I needed that
Right.
that particular moment to let me know that, hey, everything is going to be okay, because it's going to continue to keep going. It's going to continue to keep going. So yeah,
Indeed.
I
That
have no problem with that.
Yeah,
I have no.
that energy is different. Uh, I was at church the other day with my daughter, and actually my daughter, my mother, and my mom, because
Mm-hmm,
my son plays in the choir. He's a musician with the choir, and
mm-hmm,
there was a young lady sitting in front of us, and the baby had to be 18 months old, because she was walking and she had about four teeth on the bottom and four teeth on top. And every time I see a child now, it reminds me of when my son, who's now 20, when
mm-hmm,
he was 20 seconds old,
mm-hmm.
when he was 2 minutes old. And I'm looking at him and I said, damn, boy, you're 6'1", 215. This is unbelievable. I used to
Right.
hold you in the palm of my hand. And I'm looking at my daughter who's sitting next to me, and I'm saying, that little baby looks exactly like you used to look.
Yeah.
And I said, you don't understand it. And now that they're young adults, I can't treat them like children. I have to
Mm-mm.
treat them with a different respect, because you can say the wrong thing and it
Man,
can change the dynamic of that
change the
relationship.
whole trajectory of their life.
So
The
I'm very
whole trajectory.
conscientious about that. So I'm going through this phase of fatherhood, and I'm enjoying
Okay.
it. because
Yeah.
I'm really cool with my kids, and most parents find out their kids don't like them a lot.
No, they don't.
And they say,
They
you
don't.
still hang
Oh
out with your
man.
kids? I say, yeah, man, we go to the mall, we go to the movies, we hang out, like not as friends. We know
I'm,
we're parent and children, but
not to cut
it's
you off.
different.
I'm gonna give you an FYI. I'm gonna tell you. Yeah, it is because I'm gonna give you an FYI. You know, I'm here in California, so I just got a secret message told that I'm going to see Ursha. So I'm not trying to get the cherries.
Okay.
I don't want him to feed me no cherry. I just
You getting the cherries. But Usher gave them to me. Usher gave them to me.
I'm just going to the hospital. I found that
Oh,
out today. I was like, oh, so I ain't gotta go home no time soon, huh? I could just stay a little longer. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. So
oh,
let's talk about the therapeutic approaches. So, what specific therapeutic approaches do you find most effective when engaging with your clients to share mental health experiences?
CBT. Um, my approach is I'm also I'm also an advanced level facilitator for a program called RAP, which is an evidence-based
I
program.
can't wait. I can't wait. You know, I'm trying to get there. I
Oh,
can't wait.
definitely. And RAP is a wellness recovery action plan.
Okay.
And it specifically deals with those who are dealing with that are in recovery, but it's applicable across the board, especially
Mhm.
with trauma. And depending on what this client is dealing with, it might be just life issues, it might be struggles with um independence or codependence, or issues with self-esteem and confidence.
Mhm.
It can be molded to fit whatever that client needs. And I really want you to take a deep look into it. And I think I've sent you information on it
You
before.
have. You have.
It gets really introspective, because you have to go through a wrap yourself. You have to go through a wellness recovery action plan yourself.
Okay.
Then you figure out how to apply those techniques to those you're going to serve.
Okay.
We went to a retreat a year ago in San Juan Bautista, and it was about 2 weeks long. And I didn't realize that the trauma I was dealing with from childhood was still very present.
Man.
I grew up in a household where it was always someone awake, always something happening. So it's what I call controlled chaos. So I'm the type of person, I sleep with the television on. If you cut that television off, I'm wide awake.
Mm.
I don't care if it's 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm surprised I haven't burnt out more TVs than I have, because my daughter always asks, "Why do you sleep with the television on?" I said, "I don't know. I just grew up around a lot of noise."
Mhm.
So I learned to process a lot of different things in those situations,
Mhm.
and it allowed me to be able to cut through the clutter and the noise in my head and focus. But soon as that silence comes, that's a trigger for me. So even in my own personal relationship, if my wife and I, we had a disagreement or we had an argument, and
Mhm.
she punished me with her silence, oh, the silence was deafening.
Oh yeah.
And I was still trying to figure that out, because
Yeah.
when I went to this retreat, they didn't have televisions in the room. We
Oh.
didn't have Wi-Fi, but in a specific area.
Oh.
So the first thing I said, wait a minute, they don't have television. And I went to find where I could sleep where there was a television. And
Mhm.
I had to realize, I said, listen, I have to definitely put myself in a position of a client and say, what is going to be best for me?
Mhm.
And then figure out how to use this to help someone else.
Right.
And once I figured that out, I said, okay. So my approach is to simply get in, and I allow the client to tell me exactly what they want to work on. You
Right.
can't you can't go in trying to fix everything. And it's not my job to fix it. My objective is to come with some resolution and to get you to come up with the answer to your own issue.
Mhm. Mhm.
Sometimes they come and they say, "Oh, I want you to fix this." And it's like, okay, it started with you. Look in the mirror. See that person, that reflection? It started here. It's going to end here. It's going to be fixed by that same reflection. My
Okay.
job is to pull the right questions out of the air to ask you, so that we can work on those things moving forward.
And see, my thing, my approach to them, and I like how you said CBT, and I like how you said your approach. I don't use the word fix because I tell them fix is just temporal for me.
Right.
We have to change the behavior. So in that, don't use the word. I tell them don't use the word fix with me because we ain't fixing nothing. I even tell them when we talk, we're starting with a big bowl, a gumbo pot. So we're throwing all the
Yes.
ingredients inside of this pot, and we're gonna see what we're gonna come up with. And I really get into their face. I'm really just I get it, especially when you sitting up there and you keep saying, I don't know.
Yeah, you know.
You knew.
But knowing means you have to be accountable
Yeah,
for that.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Most people don't want to be accountable.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they don't. They
It,
don't.
so
They
okay,
don't.
okay. Say let's play this. I'm a client. I'm coming to see you. I've had some infidelity issues in my relationship. My wife wants to leave me, and I don't want her to leave. Where do you start with me?
Don't do
It's
that.
not us as a couple. It's just me.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because we finna go deep. We going look, we going into
So,
deep water. So if you coming to me and you got infidelity,
mm-hmm,
it's just you and me and we're talking. Your wife is not there.
mm-hmm.
First and foremost, I'm really gonna thank you for even coming and telling me that you have infidelity issues because that's a lot to say that you even did that. So my main goal of it is we finna sit down and we finna write out something. We finna write out a goal. We finna write out a plan. We finna write. We're getting ready to do exactly what needs to be done for you to really hone in on why it took
Mm.
for you to go and do the infidelity. What was
So you
missing?
you you're getting to the root of why.
Oh yeah, we finna
Okay.
flip that. We finna flip that rug over, and we
Okay.
finna get deep under that rug. We ain't finna be tripping over that rug no more. I want to know what happened because I'm gonna tell you. Even when I was experiencing my divorce, I
Okay.
had people telling me, this whole I hate cliches, but this woman was like, "Well, Willa won't a will," and that had me confused for a long time. I was like, "What you mean? Well, Willa won't a will?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "What did she say?" I said, "Because I'm doing everything that I'm thinking possible in this marriage. I mean, from the sun up to the sundown to the core of the earth. So what's the problem?" But it was something in him, innate in him, that I didn't know that
Okay.
somebody else was able to do. I
And,
so
and does that make you pause and step back and start processing what it was that I'm not fulfilling for this person?
it kind of did for a minute, but then when I had to think about it, I said, you know what? Like they say, you can't. I'm gonna go there.
Go.
You can't make a hoe into a housewife. You
Right.
can't make a thug nigga into a husband until he ready.
Mm, I could deal with that. Yeah.
Yeah, you
You're
can't.
right. If it's levels to what I'm understanding is levels to manhood.
Right,
There's certain things that you do as a boy because that's what you want. There's certain things that you do as a man because that's what you need.
right.
And I've seen that growth in myself. Like I said, listen, I'm a I'm a superstar athlete. I can do whatever I want to do and have access to doing that. So for me to change was a self-reflection, and I wanted to become something different for this person.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell my wife all the time, I said, listen, girl, you're one of the few people that I ever courted.
Mm.
I didn't push the issue, and maybe I could have, and maybe something would have happened quicker, but I didn't want to. I really wanted to get to know you. I wanted to get to know you so bad. I was willing to wait, not because I had to wait, not because I had something on the side. It was because I wanted to get to know you beyond the superficial. She's beautiful.
Mm.
On looks, she's gonna get your attention, but I wanted to know what else was behind that.
Behind it, exactly.
Because, and I'm not talking about your backside. I don't need you
No,
throwing it back like that. But
no.
yeah, so but I needed to know this person. I said I could see myself having a family with this person. She came from a two-parent household. Her parents are both deaf. They were together for over 40 years until her father passed away.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted that. My cousin and I, we both, Derek Durden. He's one of the people I say that's instrumental in saving my life. And he won't acknowledge it to this day. And he's one of our former classmates.
Oh, come
But
on, dear.
so someone in college wrote a paper about us. They said,
Mm-hmm.
listen, you two are cousins who are in college. You're both coming from single parent households where you're the eldest.
Mm-hmm.
Your whole alignment is about to change. And I said, what do you mean? And at this time, I was like, little white girl, what are you talking about? And she said, listen, you're in college, you both are in college, which means that you're more than likely going to graduate with a degree, which means you'll have a career, which also means you'll probably meet someone else that has a degree and a career. And you,
Mm-hmm.
my guys, more than likely will have a family. And you will be realigning your whole star.
Come on, prophetical. Come
And
on,
I said,
prophetical.
I looked at my cousin like, what this little white girl talking about?
Come on,
But she was
prophetical.
so on point, Tisha. I wish I could find her now. She wrote for the Washington Post back in the day. I wish I could
Mhm.
find her and send her a bottle of Cristal or something because
Hey.
she was right. My cousin's been married 25 years. Derek has been married to Liz Durden. Shout out Liz. Shout out Derek. 25. They celebrated 25 years this year.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That longevity.
Yeah, it's real. And
Yeah.
if you would have told me, like, yeah, Chris, you're gonna be married for about 50 years. Like, man, are you crazy, boy? Watch that. Hey, let me hold on. You see this drip right here, boy? Don't.
Not
That's
on
how I
this.
was.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm like, man, I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a businessman. I'm
Mm-hmm.
a lot of different things in one package, and the
Mm-hmm.
package keeps changing.
It's gonna change. That's that. And see, that's something that we have to learn. We're gonna always, as long as we're doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing, we're gonna always evolve to elevate.
Yes.
That's a part of your elevation. When you constantly evolving, it's gonna constantly bring you to an elevation.
Yes.
So for me, and going back to the relationship, and that's what I want. I want that longevity in my relationship where we can not just coexist in a
Right.
marriage.
You don't want
That
that.
we're
That's not
in
living.
your marriage is supposed to be just that. We're supposed to be sharpening each other in a
Yes.
relationship on a continual basis. You are
Yes.
supposed to always sharpen each other to the point where if I'm not around, you already know exactly what needs to be done. I don't have to
Yes.
be worried about, concerned, or nothing like that. Same with me. You know I'm out here. I'm getting it. I'm getting it in. I don't have time to be worried about the next dude. If I'm out here doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and you
Yes.
shouldn't even be worried about that either, because we should be building.
Exactly. Building.
Yeah,
I,
exactly.
I told my daughter she's having this struggle right now. She's a young woman
Mm-hmm.
and she still wants to be treated like a kid. And I said, listen, bum. I call her bum. I said, listen, you're about to be 19. People see you as a attractive young woman, not this little girl. And I understand it's a growing pain for you,
Mm-hmm.
but you have a mother, you have a father, you have grounding. You know what it is you would like, how you would like to be treated, and what you expect from certain people. Now, what's not being taught is how you're supposed to reciprocate that.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually brings you and that other person together if that's what you want. I say, but that position that you're in right now, you're going to have to go through it. You're going to have to go through it because you're evolving into that butterfly. When I met your mom, she was evolving into that
Mm-hmm.
butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got married, she had become that butterfly. And
Mm-hmm.
it's different stages that you have to go through, just like I went through.
Right.
I'm still learning that it's different levels to me, you know?
And if you don't know, somebody gonna tell you, and you don't want
Yeah.
nobody else to tell you about what you're supposed to be doing and where you're supposed to be at.
Oh, listen, I have a cousin, Regina Dixon, and Christina Love, and people don't know. I had two experiences. I went to a HBCU,
Mm-hmm.
and then after getting kicked out, I ended up going to a traditional white university.
Oh, of course.
So I went from an all-black university to an all-white university.
Mm-hmm.
And those experiences were polarizing, night and day. But I've seen them who graduated from the HBCUs and married those love of their lives from college. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, man, if I would have stayed at a HBCU, I probably would have married someone from that university as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so just to see how my kids are now matriculating through all of this,
Mm-hmm.
it's mind blowing to me because I was there. You haven't been my age, I've been your age.
Right.
And like I said, Tisha, you're now experiencing something as a grandparent
Mm-hmm.
that you can reflect on from your teenage years of being a parent.
Exactly.
And having that person that you're supposed to be building with is going to be key to you building something greater than where it is now. Not saying that it's not great now, but having that person that you can trust implicitly, explicitly, to have your back no matter what, that's what we're all searching for, right?
Right.
And that's what we all want. And I said, man, I you don't realize how much work goes into that, to
It's a
securing that type of relationship.
and it's a lot. You know, it's a lot, especially watching my grandchildren grow up and giving and letting their parents give them their own personal identity, especially
Mm,
for my grandson, you know, being of his age. He's 7. So of course we don't stop him from having his emotions. You know, we want him to be able to have a happy balance, you know, in that. So
expression, yes.
exactly. And believe me, when I say expression, oh my Lord, I be like, sir, you gonna make me fight you. I be like, I'm gonna fight.
You
I'm
have to
gonna,
meet him where he is.
I be like, I'm gonna back the, we gonna box, you know, and he be like, oh, Nana. And I'm like, boy, come on now. You
But
7, we gonna box. But yeah, just that and within itself and allowing your daughter that freedom and telling her, you know, you're going to have to evolve. You know,
yes,
there's evolvement in this, and you're going to have to grow. And raising my kids, they will tell you, I raised them as if something happened to me, how would y'all survive?
mm, mm,
How would you survive if something happened to me right now to this day? How would you survive? So they're very close. They're so close. Chris, I'm telling you, when we have family holidays, I be finding out stuff they did when they was kids I never knew about that I can't whoop them for now.
well, I'm pretty sure it's the same thing with your mom. Like, girl, you
I'm
did what?
I did. Yeah. I be like, y'all did who? Oh. And that's why I said in the beginning, they knew what was going on in the marriage,
Right,
but they were not expecting the divorce to happen. You know,
right.
so it was like we saw what was going on, but we didn't know that you was gonna do, you know, that waiting till his hell on our dad when he went to work and came back and wasn't nothing in the house except for his clothes.
Wow.
We didn't know you was
Did you
gonna do
get a
that.
lot of pushback from that from your kids?
No,
No,
actually
they were
no.
accepting of it.
They were very accepting of it. They
Because
were
I've
very
seen where kids, the children choose sides,
no.
and
Mine
one
didn't.
wants to live with the dad, wants to live with the mom. None of that.
My son, my first two were from a previous relationship that I never got married in, but my
Okay,
youngest two were a part of my marriage.
okay,
So my oldest two, one was gone to the military, the other was in college where I am right now in California with her. And my youngest two were with me, but they saw what was going on, so they were able to see who was really doing what
right.
in the marriage. So when it happened, they was like, okay, we see you doing everything, mom. We good. You know, we all right, you know. But then I never, not one time, spoke bad about their dad. I told them they had to learn it for themselves. They had to
Yeah,
learn who he was
yeah,
because his relationship with me was different from what it would be with you because
right,
you're his child.
right.
So that's why I never they didn't ever hear a bad word about anything when it came to that. So we have a question on here. I think we
Okay.
had quite a few questions.
Oh, do we?
Anthony,
What's the question?
yeah, Anthony first said, I think he had another question on here. He said, "Oh, live show. Hey, cousin." You know, I think he said, "Hey, cousin." Yeah, he said, "Hey, cousin." But it's been quite a few people on here that's been saying something. Even Claudia has been responding on here. We love the questions and everything that you guys have out here. Anthony made the statement, are y'all talking questions? Are y'all taking questions from the chat? We want questions. Come on, give
Oh
us some
yeah, without a
questions.
doubt. Load them up.
Yeah,
Load them up. We would love
yeah.
to comment on
Come
those.
on, because I actually, for me, the questions that I've been having for you, because I know you got a book coming out and about
Oh,
this digital media.
oh,
And
listen.
what I'm finding is a lot of men are going to, it used to be women are watching social media to determine their body types and all this here other stuff,
Right.
figuring it out. I want a husband like this guy on social media. But now it's gotten to the fact that men are more honed in on social media.
Hmm. It's an interesting time that we're living in right now. And people don't think that technology addiction is real. People don't think that social media addiction is real. And it's very prevalent, especially when we look at our children.
Mm-hmm.
And and I'm sorry, and I'm alluding to that conversation because the title of my book is called Digital Dope, The
Mm-hmm.
Detox. And it
Okay.
teaches you how to start to wean yourself off of the need to have access to social media, your technology at all times. We grew up in a
Mm-hmm.
period where we've seen all of the technology evolve from nothing to everything that it is now. You walk around right now with perfect. Let me segue into this. You have a smartphone, correct?
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure everybody watching right now has a smartphone. My question to the audience is, do you use your phone or does your phone use you?
Well,
So
my
that's
phone ain't
also my
always,
question to you.
yeah, my phone ain't always that smart. So I don't use my phone. I use my phone. My phone don't use me because I know how to break away from it. So you don't always see me on social media.
Mhm.
You see me posting on there,
Right,
but I'm not always on there because my mind is focused on building my brand and building my
right.
business.
But
And that's
but
the
it's
only
going to
time that
incorporate being on social media.
it
It
does. But I
is
but I have what I have is, and what I like about it now is that I can set it for a certain time and date, and I'm done.
perfect. That's part
Yeah,
of the process. That's part of
that's
the digital detox
right.
is giving yourself boundaries and restraints. Because 9 times out of 10, if I look at your phone, I could go right into your settings and then your phone will give me all the empirical data that I need to know about you. It'll tell me where you spend your money. It'll tell me where you spend your time, how much of that time is allocated to Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, TikTok. It'll tell me everything. And it'll tell you that you've been on your phone 2 more hours than last week. Well, how long was I on the phone for last week? 49 hours.
Well, if it's doing
49
all that,
hours.
it's doing all that, then they need to make
So,
me some money
so
instead of.
right. And now think about it. If you run your business strictly from your phone, I've
Hmm.
I've built businesses based off the phone.
Hmm.
From a Samsung, I've made money from that technology. And you as you build your brand, you're going to start to understand how prevalent that use of technology is. But you have to have boundaries set so that it won't ruin your mental. The
Right.
same release that you get from doing illicit drugs or eating chocolate or indulging in something that may not be truly uh beneficial to you is the
Hmm.
the same release dopamine release that you get from being on social media. They made a documentary called Generation Likes, and this person posted an image and they got over 10,000 likes, but they got maybe 50 negative responses. They didn't focus on the 10,000 likes. They focused on the 50 negative responses. And that
Mm.
drove them down a rabbit hole. And that rabbit hole created depression. It created
Yep.
anxiety. It
Yep.
created a number of things that are preventable. So even with depression, I look at depression as a social issue because we judge ourselves based on what we see others doing.
So you know me. I don't know if you know this about me, Chris, but when I hear words, acronyms come out of my head for depression, like stuff
Okay.
like that. So
Okay.
I'll break it down. When I hear the word depression, I say, your mind is just deeply resting in a spot that you can't recover from. You got to be able to pull yourself out of that spot. So when your mind goes into that deep rest, that you're deeply resting and thinking about something negative,
Mm.
that's causing you to sink into that rabbit hole? How can I pull you up out of that rabbit hole?
Yeah.
Now, Anthony have a question for you.
Okay.
I don't know where these questions come from with Anthony, but
Okay.
Anthony saying, how do you handle difficult relationships with siblings?
Ooh. Ah.
Beat
You
them
have to
up.
talk.
No, I'm just playing.
You can't beat them up anymore. Hey, look, my siblings are bigger than me, some of them,
Right,
and it's like, look,
exactly.
I'm not playing. I'm not wrestling with you. I'm not tussling with you. I'm
Right.
just walking away. I'm gonna tell mama on you. That's what I'm gonna do.
Mm,
I'm gonna tell mama, and I'm gonna let her handle it. When you have a situation like that, you have to put it in the air, because sometimes that one person might not know that you have an issue. So they're operating on the fact that they think everything is all good, and you
right.
have an issue that's never been brought up and is not addressed. So it's fermenting on your side, but on their side, they're just acting like everything is normal because they don't know that it's an issue.
But I tend to say, even when people think that others don't have a conscience about something that has transpired, they
Mm,
do. They're just waiting on you to bring it up. Because sometimes, even for a heated fellowship, if you and I had a different mindset about something
differences
that
of opinion,
happened between you and I, it's okay to disagree. True
right?
enough, to agree to disagree. But in the back of my mind, and I'm sure as my sibling, you want us to settle this situation
Yes,
as
especially if
much
you're
as
the elder, if
possible.
you're the older of
Right.
the two.
Yeah.
My siblings and I, we have disagreements, and especially one of my brothers, it's like we never get out of that hole.
Mm-hmm.
And all I want is the best for him. And sometimes that comes off as, you my big brother, but you're always trying to tell me what to do and how to live my life. And I'm like, no, it's never that. I just want you to have the best version of your life that you could possibly have. And
Mm-hmm.
I might have some input from an experience that could be beneficial to you.
Right.
But if you're not willing to receive that, you're going to interpret it as I'm telling you what to do.
Yep.
Being the oldest is not the easiest thing in the world, because you don't have anyone to look up to. You don't have anyone to get direction from. You don't have anyone to say, okay, he made that mistake, I'm not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to make all the mistakes and figure it out, good and bad. Hey, I want to do what Chris did, but I don't want to do what Chris just did. I want to
Right.
go a different route. And so, not having that, you lean on your friends, you lean on those mentors, you lean on those that you look up to and
Mm-hmm.
appreciate and admire. And so sometimes it's not easy when you have those disagreements, but that might be a growth curve.
And we're gonna have those. You're
Yes.
gonna continue to have those until you get into your eternal sleep. Well, because
Yes.
my people ask me constantly, what is my just thought, because I was sitting up here reading some somebody
Okay.
was sitting up here. No, Tyson, we're not talking about you about the social media and staying on there. Kim, no, we're not both, you can't put your phone down. Your phone is not using you and you're not using your phone. So some people was responding to your
Your
things
phone
and
is using
questions.
you.
Is your phone using you or you using your phone? But then we also have Trinity on here that's talking to Anthony. So I'm like, what's going on?
They having sidebar
We're having
conversations in the
conversations.
oh,
But we're here for it. We're here for it. Honestly, we are.
hey, we want the engagement. That's what we want. Yeah.
Right. So when people ask me, even for me, being a psychotherapist, what is my strong suit? And I say grief.
Mm.
Um, and
Why
a
why
lot
why grief?
grief, because people really don't understand what grief really is. A
Go
lot of
there.
people see grief as, oh, I lost a loved one.
Hmm.
Oh, my mom passed, my dad passed, my dog passed, my cat passed, something passed. Grief stems from a lot of other things. It could be a broken relationship. You being, somebody leaving you and you've been with that person for years.
Yes.
That's taking a life away from you. You got to start life from where you are, not over, but you're starting life again. The
You
loss of a job, the
right.
loss of, different things. So when people hear the word grief,
Did you experience grief when you went through your divorce?
yes.
There are a lot of people that might be listening right now that have just recently gone through a divorce, and you might know one side of it, but you never
Mhm.
hear the other side.
Oh
And
man.
if they're experiencing, so like if your ex was on here and he was able to tell his side of the story, I'm pretty
No,
sure it would look and sound totally different.
you know what? My ex wouldn't be on here because he can't stand me. That dude hate me. That dude hate me so much. I even tried to be like, hey, we gotta
Hate
date.
is a strong word.
He told me that. He told me that I needed to delete the name Sherman because that didn't belong to me. So
He didn't
he,
pull an Ike Turner, did he?
I mean, I went to Petty University. You know, I was a professor of Petty
Oh,
University, so I got super
Dr.
petty.
Petty. Okay.
Man, let me tell you, I had the PhD, the IOP, the all the P's to the P's to the petty.
I got a
So I said up
supportive
there,
outpatient petty program.
look, listen. I told him, I said, it will change one day when I find the right person. But right now, all my stuff is in the last name Sherman. He told me, he said, well, you was the head of the organization. And I said, and you chopped the head off. So that's what it was. So, I mean, he just went in on me about, me leaving him. And I told him, I said, what did you want me to do? Did you really expect for me to sit there and you cheat to find yourself? I had to make a decision. Either I was going to sit there and let you bring me something that was going to kill me and I constantly died inside, or leave and find life. What did you want me to do? So that's
I,
what the
I don't
grief
think
was
most
for
people
me.
talk about this part. Tish, this
Yeah,
got to be a part two because
it
I don't
is.
think that conversation is really brought to the forefront. It gets talked about, then it's glossed over.
Oh, no, I want to talk about it.
Because man,
I
go
want to talk
go
about it.
there.
Because that's really, when I wrote my book, a lot of people thought it was a male bashing
What's the name of
for
your book?
him. It's called Unconditional Love, One Woman's Spirit Journey to Spiritual Freedom. And you can
Where can
find
you
it on
find it?
Amazon. You
Okay.
can find it on Amazon. You can even email me at whyhecant@gmail.com. I got them at home. I'll deliver them. I'll come and personalize and autograph it for you. But
Awesome.
let me tell you, I had favorite parts of my book that I love so much. And one of my favorite was Addicted to an Addiction.
Oh, go there.
And in that, I'm talking about the addiction that I had for a man that really just took life out of me. But I had to suck onto him like he was crack because I
Wow.
knew nothing different. I saw marriages that I wanted. I just had this whole mindset and facade. I never had a type of guy that I would date. But this guy he wasn't even a type. It was just the fact that I was addicted to the fact that I could control the
Mm,
marriage. I
you
was
could
addicted.
control the
I
marriage.
could control the marriage because, like I said, I took the nigga off the street. The
Tish coming out. Let's go. I'm here for it. Let's go.
I took the Ninjago off the street and showed him a different side of life. And this is how you do me, So it was
So in saying that, did you feel like he owed you a certain type of
no,
respect for
I
that or owed you
no,
anything for doing
no,
that?
no. I just wanted. I just wanted. To me, I wanted the best for him.
Okay.
I wanted him to see a different side of life. I wanted him
Okay.
to see things differently because I came from the streets. I came from Fifth Ward, Lockwood, Sudan, over there in that area by the railroad tracks.
Yes, ma'am.
My first, I should be in prison for what I did. That's what I
I
said.
didn't think we was going there today, but yeah,
Look,
let's go.
look, I'm scratching my head. I like the color orange and I like the color white, but I don't need the TDC number and stuff like that.
Exactly.
I wear the colors, but I don't.
Don't need the spin number. Nah.
No, not at all. I like my social security number and my driver's license number, and my date of birth.
Ooh, boy, y'all ain't ready for this.
so,
Oh man.
so for me, you know, I had to also learn with him and his mom because, like I said, I had a man child because
Okay.
he was a mama's boy. So I'm learning now that when I do get into a relationship, I can't think that the mother of that man is going to be like my ex mother-in-law was. So
Hmm.
I'm learning to really break things down, and that's what my book talked about: the addiction, allowing different layers to be peeled off and burnt off.
Okay.
Because that was my first marriage. I wanted to control the issue. I mean, it was. I think I was the first one to ever get on a knee for somebody, but I did it at an anniversary. I didn't ask him to marry me. It was like we was at it. It was like a renewal, and I did. I got down on the knee and gave the ring,
Wow.
and I was like, I must be crazy to be sitting up here. This man and did all this stuff to me. But I'll tell the story. I have no problem
I,
with telling the story because people need to hear it.
yeah. I mean,
I don't sure.
I think people get comfortable when they know they can treat you a certain way and you
Man,
won't leave or walk away from the situation.
oh, I have I,
And
I have Michael Jackson abilities. I can move and walk out of a
oh,
situation.
yeah, backstep all the way. Yeah. I mean, what my question to you was going to be, what was the growth and what was the learning that you received going through that? And you kind of explained the learning. What was the growth in that? Because you're dealing with one thing I know about suffering,
Hmm.
it's a lot of learning and growth that happens in suffering.
Hmm.
So, what did you get from that that someone that's watching this can take from your experience?
My growth was being honest with myself. The growth of being honest with myself and knowing that I was not in the right relationship because there was no changing. It was always a fixing.
Fixing.
And like I
Hmm.
said, the fixing was always temporal. It was never a change. And when you make a promise to my loved ones, and my grandmothers meant everything to me because those were the women who taught me how to cook, who taught me how to be a wife, who taught me how to do things in the right way and how to be a woman in my household. To where when you lied to those two women and told them that you would be the man to stand up if something should happen to me. As soon as those women closed their eyes, your whole demeanor changed towards me and our children. Yeah, it was time for me to grow up. I had to either shit or get off the pot.
Right.
So I got off the pot.
Did you go through that process of trying to fix him, thinking that you could fix him?
I didn't go through that point of trying to fix him
Okay.
because
Okay.
I knew there was no fixing. Any two ways a man can lie on his mom to do the dirt that he was doing, that was no
Wow.
fixing to that for me.
How long into the relationship did you realize that this is not going the way I had hoped it would?
So let me give you a little bit more story on this thing right here. I'm gonna go ahead
Oh,
and break it down to those women out here who think that you can marry a man when he go to prison. Mm.
oh, okay. See, I didn't know that part of the equation. Okay, go ahead. Let's go there. When he goes to prison. Mm,
Let's go there.
okay.
So when I
How much
first
time first? How much time first?
we got time. We got time.
Okay. No, no.
We got a
How
whole
much
nother.
time did he do in how much time was the prison stint?
How much time did I do?
No,
How much
not
time did I do with him?
yeah. How much time did you do with him? Yeah.
5.5 years. I did
Five. Oh,
five and a half years.
man. Okay.
I was loyal them for 5.5 years. I ain't never know. I was like, Lord, okay. So yeah,
Okay.
we was together like 5 years before it happened. But it
Okay.
was a lot going on in that time, a lot cheating. Now I should have left when I did. And that's when a lot of the abuse was going on.
Okay.
So then he actually he should be in the history of the newspapers because he was the reason why they shut down the old courthouse downtown and built a new one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
he was the
okay. I
one
didn't
that
know.
took out running out the jailhouse, and he broke, yeah. So they had to they had to recreate the new jail.
Oh, we're gonna fix this. We're gonna fix this, Houston. We're gonna fix this.
Yeah, we're
This
gonna make
ain't
sure
never happening again.
we're gonna make sure nobody else wants this place.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, he had a fan club.
Oh man. Okay. Okay.
So, but yeah, um, I didn't know what love truly was
Okay.
because I really didn't truly see it. Because my grandfather passed. When my grandfather passed when I was 14, that's when I attempted suicide because I thought that was the only man that could ever love me, the only man who could ever be there for me because he protected me so much and I had nobody else.
So your father wasn't there.
My dad was there, but my dad wasn't there.
Okay. Okay. I'm
So
just
my dad was in the house. He was a provider,
okay.
but he wasn't the dad.
Mm.
My
Oh, girl,
grandfather was.
we opening up some
Oh, come
balloons
on now.
tonight. So
I
because
don't mind. I don't mind. Let
let's
me let
go.
me let me get some
Okay.
camphor Finique. Let me put something on you so now me.
Not the Camphor Finique. Come on, girl. Okay.
I'm itching. Let me put some calamine lotion on there.
For y'all don't know, calamine lotion is, is used for a lot of different things. I just use it for chicken pox. But okay. But go
But
ahead.
yeah, and
Okay.
then I married what I saw.
Mm.
So when he got in trouble, he went to prison and he asked me to marry him. So there's a thing which a lot of people don't know. It's called marriage by proxy. And when you
Okay.
get married by proxy, you're actually not marrying that person. You're marrying the name of that person, but you're actually marrying the person who's standing in the wisdom. See, that's book
Yeah.
2. Watch out for book 2. That's part
Okay.
of book 2. But you're marrying that person by proxy. So you really don't know who you're marrying and what you're marrying when they get out of prison. You really don't.
You're absolutely
So
right.
so when he got out of prison, he was still incarcerated mentally,
Yes.
emotionally, and
Yeah.
everything.
And
And
he's
then
going
his
through trauma that
exactly.
happened within the
Exactly,
prison.
because there
Right.
was a lot of stuff that went on in prison.
Right.
And then he had his mom as his go to.
That was his rock
Yeah,
in that equation. Okay.
yeah. So the relationship was kind of dysfunctional between mom, but he was still a mama's boy. She got him out of trouble anytime something happened. She was always there doing just all of that. But what broke me too was when he used her as his excuse. And the final straw with me was if my mom still would have been living, I would have never been married to you. And I was like, oh, thank
Wow.
you for telling me that. On top of the fact that you constantly cheated from sun up to sundown all the time. So I had to be like, okay, Morticia, what are you going to do with this? How are you going to walk away from this? What can we do to better this whole situation? So the growth for me was to realize it wasn't that I was saying that I deserve better. It was determining that I deserved me.
I can dig that.
I deserved me. So that's why it's so easy for me now, even in a relationship, that I could just be like, hey, I see that this is not working. So I'm not going to hold you up from your growth and being where you need to be with who you need to be with. Because that's not fair to you and it's not fair to me. So I'd rather deal with the heartbreak of us not being together, but being happy with the fact that you're with who you need to be with.
Now, okay, just using your experience in that equation, if your daughter was to come to you and tell you that she met somebody and she really has this strong feeling for this person, but they have to go to prison, what would your what would you tell her? What type of advice would you give to someone, say your daughter, about
Well,
being in a relationship with someone that they want to hold down for a stint?
I had that question, but it wasn't with. I've had that situation, but it wasn't with my daughters because my
Okay.
daughters experienced that with me.
Okay.
But the question was because I'm an ordained minister, I had someone to come to me and ask me to marry them, and their husband was incarcerated. Actually, 3 people, 3 different ladies, and I just came straight to them and I was like, "Here, read my book." I say, "Read
Mm,
my book because my book is going to tell you something that you really need to know." I said, I'm not going to tell you not to marry this man, but I'm going to tell you the reason why you should not marry this man. I don't care if y'all been together for years. And I'll ask the question, how long has he been incarcerated? Well, he's been incarcerated for 10 years. That's a red flag for me. So you think there's not another man out here that could do exactly what you're looking for? You've been out here 10 years by yourself doing whatever you needed to do this whole time. What's going to stop you from doing that now? So my advice to them is to really think about what you're getting ready to do. If that
mm,
man is incarcerated already, there's a lot of baggage that's going to come with that when he comes home.
mm. It's a
And
lot of
they don't,
baggage in that time frame
right.
before he
So
comes home.
Exactly. So when they're leaving prison, they're not getting thermalized.
At all.
They're not
And
getting
that's the first
thermalized
thing that should happen.
right before they come home, because that they could be in prison from some childhood trauma to some young teen trauma. It could have been a lot of things and a lot of reasons why they could be incarcerated.
Right.
But a lot of times we fail to realize that we're also incarcerated in our mind too.
Yes. 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 A lot of people don't know my first stint upon graduation, I worked in the prison as a psychiatric specialist for the state of Iowa. And you meet people from all walks of life that are convicted murderers, serial killers, serial rapists, those who are dealing with aggravated assault charges. I mean, these convictions are real, and what you have to do and who you have to become in order to survive in a maximum security prison,
Mm-hmm.
it ain't for the weak. It ain't for the
Not at
weak.
all.
So you're dealing with physical trauma, you're dealing with emotional, psychological trauma, nutritional trauma. It's so many things that you're dealing with, and now you have to come back into society and be normal, whatever
Mm-hmm.
that means. And now
So,
you bring in a woman into that equation because you have a physical need, but depending on what age you went into that prison, you're probably responding to things from that age. I had friends that went to prison at the age of 16, 17. They went in when we were riding around with pull-out cassette decks in our car. They came out when DVDs were popping.
right.
And now they're giving people not even numbers. They're giving them alphabets now. You might get life, life without parole, and then someone fought for you to get out of that life sentence, and you've been incarcerated for 25 years, over a decade, more than a decade, a quarter of a century, and now you're back out here
So
emulating what's normal.
your brother asked Mr. Durden, D. Durden,
Okay.
do you know the success rate of marriages with a prisoner? I
Mm.
haven't, for me, on experience, the success rate is not good.
So
I
as a
haven't
percentage, what do you think that is? About 20%?
20%, if that,
I,
because
I know of two right now that's still going,
mhm,
and that's out of about 20, some depending on the area, about 20 couples that I knew that had a similar situation, male and female.
mhm.
So the percentage of successful marriages that come from that is very low.
Yeah, it is. And you gave a good rating about 20. I say about 15 to 20%, because again, if that person comes home and they're willing to deal with the situation that happened and go through the process, grow through the process,
Grow,
it could
yes.
be successful. But if every time you turn around they're blaming something as to why they're acting this way or why they're doing this, it doesn't last long.
Right.
It
I
doesn't last
mean,
long.
I'm pretty sure you experience this. Even when you come out of prison, you still operate under the premise that you're still incarcerated.
Oh
You
yeah.
get up at a certain time because one thing about prison, if you're it's convicts and it's inmates. The convicts program. That program says my schedule starts here, and this is what I do throughout the day in order
Mhm,
to occupy my time and my mind so that I don't get caught up in all the junk, the minutia that happens in prison.
mhm,
So you get locked into that. That becomes your day to day. So when
mhm,
you come out, you're still operating on that mind frame, in that mind
mhm,
frame.
mhm.
So now you're thrust into this normalcy of what someone else's normal is and their routine, and it doesn't jive, it doesn't fit. It's a conflict. So
Yeah.
to get reacclimated to the day to day, you look the part, but mentally you're not there. You're
Ah,
still, hey, I'm still, somebody told me I had to go take a shower. Now I could go
mhm.
take a shower on my own.
You know the thing about it is, even though I was incarcerated those 5.5 years with him, everybody that died, that was a lesson for me.
Mm. What was the lesson in that? Go.
I never seen a man so clean. This
Oh,
man would take a bath 4 times a day. The house was clean. And I was like, I ain't never seen nobody clean the toilet with their hands. I was like, this man is really doing this stuff. But the
that,
whole thing of it was he still was himself before he got incarcerated and
mhm.
then while he got incarcerated. So the lies and the stories started back up again when he started feeling some form of normalcy
Mhm.
until it started going there again until it was either and I'm just gonna be straightforward because you know me, I'm unapologetic about what I do. Anytime a doctor tells you either you walk away or that person is gonna give you something that's gonna kill you,
Mm.
that really set a blaze to me.
Wow.
Because I had to go through a lot of reconstructing situations in my life.
Okay.
So it was either, like I said, either I had to be there and constantly die or find life. And when I went to the doctor after coming off of a missions trip, because I was doing missions,
Okay.
and I came back and I went to the doctor, normal thing, and it was like, hey, you need to have this procedure done, this. And he was like, if you touch him one more time, that's it. And I was like, oh Lord, okay.
Wow.
So it's like I constantly going to the doctor. Every 3 years I have to go
Wow.
to the
So
doctor.
that actually leads into some people that are in relationships, not even dealing with somebody that's been incarcerated, but those that are living out here in the free world and
Mm-hmm.
doing some very what's the word I'm looking for? It's a certain type of lifestyle.
Yeah, that
Uh
lascivious lifestyle, that lifestyle
the-
that's gonna make me wear orange or white. Yeah, that
and
is.
it can be mentally debilitating to find out that you've been exposed to certain things. And
Mm-hmm.
that's something else that's never talked about. I mean, it's hard enough getting men to open up, but then when you try to get women to open up about being exposed to certain things because of the partner or men themselves, it's a challenge in that. It's so many things that we've explored in this conversation
Oh yeah,
that
we
I'm
always
pretty
got part
sure
two.
somebody else, even if they don't want to ask the question, they're asking themselves that question. Like,
Mm-hmm.
man, you go on these trips all the time and then you come back and then the body language tells me one thing, the conversation tells me another thing, and I realize that we're not connected like we once were. What's
Mm-hmm.
going on? I-
Really, there was no connection. I'm gonna tell you, there was no connection. Like I said, I was okay with controlling the environment. I was
okay.
okay with controlling the temperature. It wasn't never a time that I didn't allow him to be the man. But when he showed that he wasn't trying to be the man, then I had to jump in and wear the man clothes too.
Hmm.
I never knocked him out of his place, but when I was told that things were off balance, because it was like, hey, you the man. I just want to be the woman. Just let me be the wife. And yeah,
Do you think a lot of women find themselves in that situation when they're
oh,
dealing
most
with
definitely.
a lot of men?
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. And
Wow.
I blame us for it.
Why?
Why do I blame women for it?
Yeah.
Because I don't believe in that thing is more women than it is men. I believe it's just the men that are out there are not, they're tired of the games. The ones who really want good women are really just tired of the game, so they rather be by themselves than to deal with it. When you offer, that's just like the charcuterie board.
Okay.
You got this whole charcuterie board right there, and you got all this stuff. But then, like you said, you have a woman over here that you just really want to pay attention to and focus to. But the charcuterie board got all the stuff that you need on there. I mean, all the
Mm.
stuff that you want. It's
Hmm.
not healthy for you at
Right.
all.
All the
But
cheeses, got the
yeah,
Gouda.
I
You got
I
all these different
I call
this
it the
buffet.
it's the shiggity board. It's full of the shiggity board. That's what it's called.
Hey, Hey, that was my first experience in college. You get to HBC and HBCU, and it's like a buffet.
A whole
It,
shiggity roar.
13 women to every dude. You don't want a girlfriend.
No, you don't. You
You
don't. They become
but
then
then you don't put
from
yourself in a
body
serious
counts.
relationship like that either.
But then that's called body counts. I call them body counts when you don't
Okay.
put them in serious relationship. And some women are okay with that. They want to be a body count. But someone like me, I don't want to be a body count. I know who I am and what value I bring, and I'm not going to decrease that for nobody, But I'm going to continue to be who I am. So if you want to play with the chicory board, all that board over here, and I'm over here, I'm not. Look, I don't look 53 for a reason. Just put it like that. I don't look
Sure.
53 for a reason.
Peaceful and stress free.
Man,
I don't think people
yeah.
put the right price on peace.
No, not at all. Cause I,
And
I I mean, I'd rather be in peace than in pieces.
oh, indeed.
Yeah,
And I've seen people change their entire life just to find peace.
yeah, I
I
will.
mean, completely. Um, and it's incredible when you find it and you really become present in your own life and realize, you know what, I sacrificed a lot to try to make this work, and it was not the self care that I needed. And I'm
But
going
you,
to focus on the self care.
but you know what, Chris? It took me 10 years to get here,
Mm,
and I'm still growing. I don't say I'm ever going through anything. I'm constantly growing through
indeed.
that, and that's why for the longest this was supposed to happen. This podcast was supposed to happen for the longest.
Right.
But I just kept self-defeating myself for that. So now that, and then I'm getting ready to start the 30-minute lunch and learn, not launch.
Okay.
It's lunch where we're having lunch and we're sitting down and talking about things for mental health for 30 minutes.
Okay.
Um, and I want to do that on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday
Okay.
when people have questions and they want to know about this, about mental health, and they want to know where can they get the services and where can they get the help. I want to be able to do that because now I'm in a place where I'm okay with being okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with telling my story. I'm okay with saying, yeah, I have been in a relationship, and I'm getting this relationship I'm in now is bringing up triggers for me that I need to address.
Okay.
I
Some
need
people
to
run
address.
from that. Some people run from that. They
Oh
run from
man,
those triggers.
I had a trigger last week. I'm so serious. I sat up in my bed. I couldn't go to sleep. I was like, Jesus, look. And this I was talking to. I was like, look, I need to go to sleep. I'm not going to be dealing with this. This is not happening to me again. And it was like, no,
Right.
he's not him. He's not him, but I need to get that out of you. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. I'm not, no, I'm not gonna be with another man that's gonna use his mama for an excuse. And no, no, no. But he wasn't using his mama for an excuse. But because I went through that,
Right.
I had to grow through it. And it was like, Martisha,
That's part of your
mm-mm.
healing. I get it. You have to be able to shed that.
Ooh, I was about ready to run my car into things.
Hey, listen, I tell people all the time because we have a mental health ministry at our church at First New Hope. And
Mm,
I have to tell you that, God is the doctor, the church is the hospital.
of course,
I'm just one of his assistants.
of
I'm here to
course.
help and be a resource. I'm a tool. And
Mm-hmm.
so, everyone can't afford to go get the type of help that they really need. So if that's part of my ministry is helping those that are in need to a certain extent. And mental health help isn't expensive, it's necessary. And I say that and I'm gonna keep saying that
I'm finna
because
drink again, sis. Um,
because
Look, you gonna have me going to. I'm gonna have to take a break in a minute. Though,
it's for real. It's so much unprocessed, unresolved trauma that people are dealing with, especially childhood trauma. And all I'm trying to do, and I'm pretty sure you're doing the same thing, is to destigmatize the need for the help. That's the big fight. I want you to feel comfortable in coming to seek help. That's why I try to make Getting help, the coolest thing and the hardest thing on the earth, because hey, it's dope to go find a therapist that can relate to you.
And fun one like us, we're very fun.
Oh yeah,
We're
it's not
very
the
fun.
stuffy. Well, you should only do this, and no, we don't operate like that. We come
I'm
from
gonna
a
tell you,
real place.
I don't even cross my legs. I get in your face. I'm like, what did you say? No, but
No,
but
especially when you're dealing with people with addictions, and most people don't believe they have addictions. I
mm,
can sit with you for 5 minutes, and I can tell you exactly what you're addicted to.
see, that's why I said in my book that title, "Addicted to an Addiction." We always think it's a drug. We always think it's some kind of elusive drug or something
No,
like that. You could be
it,
addicted to so many different things.
oh, across the board. But
Yeah,
so you had alluded to my book, The Digital Dope with the
yeah.
Detox, but I also have a book called Addicted to More that's coming
Hmm.
out at the end of the month. And Addicted to More explores every facet of addiction, from sex to gambling to food to hey, addicted to this person. Like you
Yeah.
said, you're addicted to the process, you're addicted to the trauma,
Oh yeah.
you're addicted
You
to the drama of it all.
you
And
addicted to the drama and the trauma.
exactly. And when you start really unpacking that, you start realizing some of the things that are not adding up or looking right in your life, and you keep putting yourself in that situation, that's you making a conscious choice to do that. So the only way we can fix that is the only way we can resolve that is to work through those things that you're dealing with
So you
and
didn't
get to the
answer.
root,
So not to cut you off, but you didn't answer my question.
which was
So for those who are on live with us, the company Why He Can't is hosting two events. One of them is in December from the 13th through the 15th, which is called Tonight is the Night Symposium. It's on mental health awareness. And I've had asked my special guest, Mr. White, to be on my panel.
wait a minute, you asked me to do that?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I might not be able to do the 13th because the 13th is my birthday, and my birthday is shared with my beautiful daughter, Kamora.
Okay.
So we have December 13th is our birthday.
Well, the 13th is just the kickoff party. The
Okay.
14th, the 14th is all the events that's going on to where we're doing a event that's called Painting Your Trauma on a Canvas. I
Really?
love that. Yeah, I came up with that idea where you're painting your trauma on a canvas. Whatever your trauma looks like to you, you're painting that on a canvas,
Okay.
and you're being able to speak to that. So that's a active activity that we're doing. And then
Okay.
at night we're doing a gala where you dress to
Oh,
impress. You're
okay.
there, you're celebrating the fact that you've been through that trauma. It's time for you to move on and move forward.
Yes.
So then that Saturday during that morning time where we're doing a lot of events where everybody's getting to know who's all going to be on the panel that Sunday, which is
Okay.
the 15th. So that Sunday is a brunch.
Okay.
So that's where everybody get to come and ask questions that they didn't get a chance to ask Saturday
Oh,
morning. You know, they get to ask, but they're also going to be able to go home with a directory to be able
awesome.
to get in touch with everybody who is on the panel if they
Okay.
have additional questions. So it's a directory of, the 988, all the agencies out here that they can get a hold to, where it can be right there in arm's reach. Because remember, the yellow pages used to be out there. And
Yes.
you just flip through the yellow pages. So I'm bringing the yellow pages back for therapy. That's what we're
Do
doing.
that.
Yeah,
I love
that's
it.
what we're doing. So
So
then,
where's this going to be?
Veterans Memorial. Right
Veterans
there,
and
Veterans Memorial, right there, Beltway 8 in Veterans Memorial.
oh, at the one spot that's to the well, I'm going to say to the
No, it's
left
like
because
it's a school down the street. It's a
far,
school.
not Fallbrook.
Mm-mm. No, I need to get with Fallbrook because I need them to be a part of this too. Uh,
Okay. Okay.
but,
No, seriously.
but yeah, because it's all about the community. Because, like I said, a lot of people don't even know we even exist. They're so
True.
familiar with having therapists out here that are not black and brown,
Right. Right.
and they can't find or connect to the ones that they really need to connect to.
Yes.
So that's the whole thing of rebuilding our community for the
Okay.
underserved individuals. So breaking the stigma barrier for the underserved communities to get them out there to let them know, hey, we do exist, and we're not here to sugarcoat anything for you because, like I said it on the radio station, our ancestors didn't talk to therapists. They talked to each other because they
Hmm.
felt like if they told anybody else what was going on with them, they would hold it against them. And we know
Yes.
exactly who we talking about, these slave drivers.
Right.
So if I went and told master, you know, what was going on in my family,
Oh,
he was going to do something and hold it
right.
against me. So no. So again, we shut off people. We shut off people, and we want to go and tell our mom, and we go to that trauma and drama dumping on people that
Mm,
are not professional to handle that.
right.
So that's the reason why the symposium is out there. And then for February, we're doing a basketball tournament, which is called For the Love of Basketball and Mental Health. So it's for the older people, so it's half court. But I've had some older
Okay.
people
I'm
tell
like,
me,
okay.
you know, my body don't move like that no more. Well,
Yeah,
you
that
be a
check engine light
coach.
on.
Yeah, you go be a coach. Get five people. Y'all come win some money. If I say win some money, you gonna want to win some money because the top prize is pretty huge. You
Okay.
know. So we talking about February Love Month. February
Okay.
22nd, 23rd. That's gonna be at the gym in an Humble. So
Okay.
come out there,
Okay.
do half court, support mental health awareness, especially for the underserved community.
Okay. I'm gonna support that by because uh, I have a a niche market that I cater to, and
Okay.
it's phototherapy.
Oh
So I'll
yeah.
provide some photography for to support your
Okay.
cause,
Okay.
and because too many people are living through avatars. I need you to see the real you and fall in love with the real you.
Yeah, like that
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. So,
Happy
I,
birthday.
yeah, exactly. So I'm actually invite my brother Brandon King from Man to Man Counseling to be a part of that. I think this would be great for him. He would. I'm pretty sure he would love to be a panelist if he could make it. Um,
Yes.
and he's got an incredible program. His company is in the Woodlands, and he's doing some incredible things out there. I know Dr. Conrad Webster won't be available from Black Boy Hill because he'll be in Seattle
But
during that time.
I still need
Yes.
his information. I
Yes,
need as
definitely.
much. I would like for as many of us to come together and create this book,
Okay.
because again, the Harris Center is out there, true enough. Legacy
Yeah.
is out there, true enough. All these huge corporations are out there, but what about the smaller companies? Because even for that, though, Chris, what I'm doing too, and the idea of raising these funds is like for us, we're building our companies,
Right.
right? It's hard for us to find funding unless we really get out there and do the work. So
Oh,
what
indeed.
about, so why he can't is also, we're doing this nomination. I'm putting a thing together. I got the form together to put out there where we're finding three people, three companies, small business organizations, three, for the event that's happening for the basketball tournament for the love of basketball and mental health. We're actually going to donate to those companies. The top three teams that win. So, say for instance, if the first place is $1,000, the first place person that get chosen in that nomination gets $1,000. If the second place team wins, $500. The second place person, organization, or company that won in that nomination gets five. So we're matching it by
Wow.
giving
Okay.
back to the people to help them. Maybe they need a website. Maybe they need some kind of stuff to get their business out there, some marketing or something like that. Because again, people need to see us.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. Okay. You made me think about somebody else. So Keith Creer, if you're watching this from 56 Grizzly Media, he builds incredible websites. I'm gonna bring him and make him a part of this, whether he wants to or not. I'm gonna make him because I know too many incredible people that have become resources for me that
Mm-hmm.
could be of benefit. I mean, to donate a website is huge because you know what it takes to build out a proper website?
Man, don't I
It's an
know?
undertaking. So, Keith, if you're listening, I'm putting your name in the hat. So just know that Chris White says so, and you're gonna be a part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta be able to support each other. Because I tell
Yes.
people all the time, it's enough food on the table for all of us. We
Oh,
don't have to be
indeed.
greedy.
At all. Not
We
at
don't
all.
have to be greedy at all. It's enough food on the table for everybody to eat.
And also, there's a gentleman. His name is Troy Howard Jr. He's a mental health peace officer. So he works with those first responders, police officers, paramedics. He works in a community that, wait, we don't even think about these nurses that need to talk to somebody, these officers who are dealing with trauma from things that happen on the job and their work related. He's perfect for that. So Troy Howard, Troy Howard Jr. He's a mental health peace officer and he's incredible.
I need Troy Howard Jr. And over here too to talk because
Oh,
that's what I used to do at the hospital. I was a patient advocate and I did the mental health warrants.
I didn't even know about that. Oh, okay, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Oh,
Yeah.
so we have a
And
lot to build
Justin. Yeah, I saw Justin. I'm just letting you know I did see Justin.
on. Okay.
I saw Justin. Yeah, I'm on him.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on him. I'm on him.
I love it.
But it has been great. Any advice you would like to give to any male that is out there that is interested but has not, those 5 stages that we talk about, like they contemplating,
Mm-hmm.
they haven't gotten there yet, or they're saying that they're going to do it, but have not decided to go and seek mental health services, or anybody that you know that you can give a word of advice to?
I don't know what just happened to the video, but okay. Listen, the strongest thing that you could ever do is to reach out and ask for help. We always were taught to hold things down,
I'm
10
coming
toes
in.
down. We were taught to be 10 toes down in everything that we do. And we were taught to suppress and repress a lot of our feelings and our emotions. And the strongest thing that you could ever do is to let those emotions out, because if you don't, they'll come out when you least expect it in the worst possible way. So if you need to reach out and ask for help, don't feel like you're less of a man for doing so. That's the strongest thing that you could ever do as a man, especially a black man or a man of color, is to ask for help. So please reach out, whether it's to Morticia or myself, or if you go into her network and find out the proper resources, especially with addiction and trauma, depression, anxiety. Look, they usually go hand in hand. And if you
Yeah.
need help, help is available. And
Yeah.
that's the strongest thing that you can do. And if you don't follow me, please follow me. I'm at Call Mr. White on Instagram and TikTok, and you can find some of my crazy videos that are for help. I'm a part of Black Boy Heal with Dr. Conrad Webster. I'm also a part of Man to Man Counseling with Brandon King. And now I'm a part of what Miss Sherman has going on. So she's the unapologetic therapist. But when we met previously, I told her I live by the DUI. And the DUI is being deliberate, unapologetic, and intentional about everything that I do. So yeah, I got a DUI.
Oh, you got DUI?
Yeah.
You got a DUI and I got the UTI. So,
Yeah. There we go.
So, I tell anybody, if ever they want to know what's going on, follow me on all my social media platforms. Of course, I am the unapologetic therapist. I'm out here unapologetically therapizing individuals. That is called the new UTI. I'm out here trying to make sure that you're on your best behavior and that you're not picking up that orange or that white outfit.
Orange ain't the new black. Trust me.
Orange is not the new black. Not at all. Not at all. So yeah, just reaching me on all social media platforms. We will, of course, have a part 2. I can't wait to have you on the social media, on a platform, being that you're on there, that on the 15th of December, because I really want us to be able to bless families for the holidays, because that's when people are really dealing with, that seasonal affective disorder.
Yes.
And that is a part of grief. That seasonal affective disorder is so much a part of grief, and people think that, if I just don't want to get out of bed for a moment, sometimes it can be depression, sometimes it can't be, but we want you to be able to process it effectively in the best way possible, to where we won't be sitting up there, having you, wearing that orange or that white, or, on them psychotropic medications.
Exactly. You want to do it in a healthy and conducive manner. Yes.
Right. We want to catch you in the beginning. But Wednesdays from 7 to 8, even though I'm okay with going a little longer. because this is much needed, because a lot of people,
Yes.
And I don't mind telling my story just the same as you don't mind telling your story. Of course, you heard my grandbaby in the background. Nunu needs to open the door. I almost
It's keeping it
slide
real.
back there and open the door so she can meet everybody, because that's what she want to do. That's my
Do it.
3-year-old that can hold a whole conversation better than I can sometimes.
Love
But
it.
yeah, on all social media platforms, and find the meaning behind why Mr. White and I are really out here advocating for you in this mental health community, because for so long we have been so underserved,
Very.
and we just want you to get it right. We want to be that source behind the reason why you're living your best life, and not sweeping things under the rug. And I tell you, I'm not going to give you no spiritual diabetes. We don't do that here. It don't happen with me. I'm very uncut and very unapologetic, and I have a reason to be, because like I tell people all the time, there's nothing that you have grown through that I haven't already been through.
Indeed. Hey, to be a
Based off,
resource is a blessing.
oh, thank you. And yours is as well. I gotta come take some fun photos. I got some serious ones. I
Yes.
gotta come take some fun ones. Like I done had fun being on this
She's gonna get this
unapologetic
photo
journey.
therapy. This
Yeah,
photo therapy. Yeah.
yeah. I gotta come do some very fun, unapologetic, therapizing individual photos.
Let's get it. Thank you,
All
Tisha,
right.
for having me on board. I appreciate everything. Thank you so
I gotta
much.
have you again, and thank you, audience. Y'all have a great night. I am out. I know right now what it's about 9:00 Texas time. It's 7:00
Yes.
here. I'm gonna go eat me some salmon and play with my Nunu. That's what I'm gonna do. Right?
Do your thing. Do your thing. All right.
Y'all have a good night, and thank you for joining.
Continue blessings, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.